For me, there's a simple rule in politics. Never, ever be surprised by what happens in politics.
The face of truth is open. The eyes of truth are bright. The lips of truth are ever closed. The head of truth is upright. The breast of truth stands forward. The gaze of truth is straight. Truth has neither fear nor doubt. Truth has patience to wait. The words of truth are touching. The voice of truth is deep. The law of truth is simple. All you sow, you reap. The soul of truth is flaming. The heart of truth is warm. The mind of truth is clear and firm through rain and storm. Facts are only its shadow. Truth stands above all sin. Great be the battle of life. Truth in the end shall win. The image of truth is the cross. Wisdom's message is its rod. The sign of truth is Christ, and the soul of truth is God. Life of truth is eternal. Immortal is its past. Power of truth shall endure. Truth shall hold to the last.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living room. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crying in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
What's the deal between the government of St. Lucia and GPH? Someone wants to know, and also another individual has been challenged to provide information on that important deal. Also coming up on this afternoon's NewsSpin program, wastage of state funds fears that the new St. Jude Hospital will not be utilized. And Rick Wayne asks a few questions. All that and more between now and 2 o'clock this afternoon right here on NewsSpin, which is being aired on Power 97.9 FM. We are also on YouTube and the NewsSpin Facebook page. I'll be hearing from you at 452-2979, 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026, 716-2026. And Kimani will be going through some of your comments in the chat room. Received information earlier today that sometime last evening into the wee hours of today, somehow shots were fired at a police officer, and that is in the former G area, I think somewhere in La Croix. The police returned fire, and I don't have any details on this, but we hope we could be updated before the conclusion of our broadcast today. We don't know the circumstances. We don't know whether the perpetrator knew that it was a police officer. We just do not know, but those are the facts. Shots fired at a police officer, a male police officer, last evening into the wee hours of today in the former G area, and the police returned fire. We don't know whether anyone was hit in the process. Further details as information come to hand. Somebody is asking questions of the government of St. Lucia. What's it with that GPH deal and the fact that our ports have been leased for some 30 years with a possibility of a renewal for an additional 10 years? And according to her, there's not been sufficient disclosure, sufficient public education on this. Imagine a serious deal of that nature occurs in our country. And, you know, the ordinary man in the street, as Mr. Jeff Stewart would say, the ordinary man in the street does not know about what is happening in their name. This is such a major move. It has implications for us down the road. You know, we don't know what could happen because there have been other deals that have been signed with other interest groups, and then there's not been proper vetting and things of that nature. But that's where civil society comes in. That's where the media certainly would have a great responsibility, not only in asking questions, but ensuring that those who are taking such decisions on our behalf account to us, and do so, you know, in a very thorough manner. Provide us with the minutiae information, every single detail surrounding this, so that in the end, if you as an ordinary solution, you're not satisfied, you're not happy with a certain aspect of that deal, that agreement, you can take issue, you can ask questions. But unfortunately, with regard to that particular GPH agreement with the government of St. Lucia, I could tell you there wasn't sufficient public education and public discussion on it. En passant, a few comments were made. En passant, a few observations. One or two press releases were issued by the opposition United Workers' Party, but there isn't any, you know, serious measures taken that would result in most St. Lucians knowing the nitty-gritty surrounding that particular arrangement. So let us listen to a contributor to yesterday's NewsSpin program taking issue with the secrecy surrounding that deal between GPH and the government of St. Lucia.
We have our ports, the way to come in, the way we bring in food, the way we bring in everything that we need. We're giving those ports to someone else. We don't know if it's to own for 30 years. We don't know if it's to lease for 30 years.
Okay, the government has been saying the government has been saying it's to lease for 30 years, and GPH will be managing the operations of the port.
Yeah, but we need to see what the contract says, Timothy. We saw what DSH says, and at first it sounded like a good deal, but when you looked at it on paper, you said, nah, it can't be what it is on paper, but it's on the paper that you can decide what it is. So we need to know what's on that paper. Mr. Frederick, you were very good, Richard, at getting us documents. Now nobody even has to sneak it to you. You don't even have to keep a secret. You're there. You're in the government. Bring these documents out on your show on Thursday night. We can discuss it. We can understand it, just like you did for all of the others, because your interest is the betterment of the country, right? Unless you're going to tell us your interest was the betterment of you and whatever organization you chose to join, then you're going to have to come up with those documents because you've made us used to that. So what does that GPH document say?
Nigel Toussaint, contributor to yesterday's NewsSpin program, asking questions of the government, saying, what is in that deal between yourself and the GPH? We want to know what's in the document, and definitely there wasn't sufficient discussion and there isn't sufficient disclosure as far as that arrangement is concerned. Now, imagine for a moment, just imagine for a moment that the SLP is in opposition. Imagine also that there isn't sufficient consultation and disclosure as far as this agreement is concerned. What would life be like in the capital, close to the ports, when those discussions would be taking place and the SLP operatives would have gotten wind of this? What would have happened? It would be their right, they're in opposition. They are there to represent the interests not only of their supporters, but the wider St. Lucian society. This is not a simple arrangement between, a private arrangement between a landlord and a tenant. It is a serious decision that was taken on behalf of the people of St. Lucia regarding our main seaports. Castries, Bannon, the waterfront over in Soufrière. And I know somebody would say that GPH also has similar agreements with a number of other jurisdictions. Well, let them do what they want. Let them enter into whatever arrangement that they want. But we shouldn't have our own set of standards as to how we do things, as to what we decide to lease and what they decide to keep in the hands of St. Lucians, what not to put in the hands of white people and foreigners. I mean, they're going to own the ports for 30 years. Say lease for 30 years, but I'm saying own the ports for 30 years and then pass it on to us 30 years later, and then have another discussion to determine whether they should be given another lease for another 10 years. Now, civil society, your National Trust did not hear from them on this occasion, not specifically to say we disagree with that arrangement, but at least you could place your concerns, you could place your position on the record. We don't know where you stand on this all-important matter, primarily because you decided to remain silent. You abstained. You didn't vote yes or no with regard to the leasing of the port, because for you, that was not important at all. We have a number of other interest groups. Your forever silent St. Lucia Chamber of Commerce, Industry and Agriculture, your National Youth Council, and also, let me dare say that the media. We did not do enough agitating and asking of questions, maybe on the sidelines of sittings of the House of Assembly, pre-cabinet meetings, 1 or 2 questions would have been asked. But those certainly maybe were not questions that were seeking to ferret out the right answers in the name of the people of St. Lucia. And also, the people of St. Lucia did not take a deep interest in that arrangement. So, it's been signed on the dotted line, and very soon what will happen is that the white people, the foreigners, will take hold of our ports, and we'll have to seek permission from them from time to time to enter, to transact business, and things of that nature. That is one of the hallmarks, one of the key decisions taken by this St. Lucia Labour Party administration. We take your calls right now at 452-2979, 452-2979. Your WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026, 716-2026. As on yet another occasion, we discuss the issues in the news and matters of concern to you. Any issue at all. And what comes to mind with regard to something that's impacting a particular individual, the minimum standard test results. One individual, and rightly so, that individual has been calling me so that I could raise the issue on NewsSpin, and she could get some kind of response from the Ministry of Education. Are we going to hear from the new Chief Education Officer? Those people who are in the examinations unit of the Ministry of Education. Why you have an exam being sat the end of May of this year, and several weeks later, you cannot provide the results of the minimum standard test, and schools are about to reopen. What is the Ministry of Education saying about this? The tardiness of the results? What is the explanation? Please say something to the parents because they are very, very, very concerned. 452-2979. We have a call. Good afternoon to you. NewsSpin, you're on the air.
Yeah, good afternoon, Tim. Good
Hi.
afternoon, Kimani.
Good afternoon to you, caller.
Yeah, good. Tim, laisse-moi bien garder. Moi, est-ce NewsSpin? NewsSpin programme là même, ça c'est un remède, chose pas quoi. Chose pas quoi, c'est un remède. Mais il pas ni pièce qualité remède. Dat sou pas servi remède like il faut bien. Vous comprenez?
Oui.
Moi garde encore NewsSpin c'est primaire pills moi jamais ouais. Mais c'est pour apply les pour faire bagay ba. Ouais dernier c'est je passe à la madame la couillé about qualité brûlée et qui homeless et qui te fait comprendre là. Moi donc à trouver ça bien.
Oui.
Vous comprenez? Et as soon as ça we fait à la NewsSpin qui tombe en zoé. Ça qui te ni pour faire ça yo te fait et qui accepte remède ça là on bagay fait. Vous comprenez? Est-ce que vous comprenez ça là?
Oui, n'a koto.
On bagay fait. Vous comprenez? On différence fait. Madou tout bagay haché oui mais on bagay fait. Vous comprenez? So ça qui a fait là, les nous fait complaindre nous, ça nous ka ouais. Et n'a coûté NewsSpin bien. Il y a des gens qui a fait complaindre qui a bail Jerry qui manière yo ouais tel bagay ça arrangé. Il y a des gens qui a juste complaindre et qui passe à bas ou ideas qui manière pour corriger là. Mais n'attend tout ça à la NewsSpin. Mais il a tombé en user way, c'est mon qui était supposé faire ça yo faire et qui a tombé en l'autre way là. Which means you pas qu'à prendre remède là.
Adamon qui pas prendre remède là.
Adamon qui a tombé tout ça qui prend remède là, on va dire différence non comment. Oui, tout ça qui peut oui mettre dans la juridiction cabinet tout, vous comprenez? So m'a continuer dit, monde qui a coûté ça qui est autorité, qui en police, qui en gouvernement, qui en dit docteur, qui en qui ça. Là yo turn complain c'est malheureux. Et ben même si pas malheureux, mon underground yo turn try faire un bagay about ça yo turn. Et si yo continue à faire ça pays a kay marché puis des monde qui a dit dans kay journal sur logement ni une bonne journée
aussi. So the caller said that if NewsSpin is like a medication, if you take the proper dosage then it can work for you, and in instances when you fail to take the medication then what will happen is you'll continue to ill. So it's over to the authorities when you hear people calling this program to complain about certain issues to ensure that you act upon them, because I don't think that people just want to hear themselves on the broadcast complaining. They are seeking results. They are seeking clarification on certain issues. They just do not want to be ignored. We have another call. Good afternoon, NewsSpin, you're on the air.
Tim, good afternoon.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon to you.
How are you, sir?
I'm okay. How about you?
Not too bad. I'm okay by the grace of God. Tim, I listened to your program. In fact, the way you start your program. And then you play a comment by a lady, a female voice yesterday, a lawyer called you.
Yeah.
And Tim, and it is in regard of this listing of podcasters and for GPH. Now, what about if we don't furnish with all the correct information in regarding that deal? Well, let me put it a deal for now. And then you have a change of government, and it came into office, sorry. And it go and do what you call a review of that deal and see that what is in that deal is not satisfactory to the country. Then there would have to be a turnover, am I right?
Yeah, it's possible they can do it.
Now, I said this simply to say, when you have that majority, you need to be careful, even in as much as the opposition have to sit in parliament. That's nothing, Things can happen. And then I said this simply means that you don't just sign deals like that without giving the taxpayers a better idea, or citizens of St. Lucia, as to how it's going to entail. What is the benefit for the country? What is the benefit for GPH? and how we can move along. I remember a deal like that was done in Guyana when David Granger, you know him well, the former president of Guyana, when he signed that agreement with what is that company, oil company?
I think it's ExxonMobil.
ExxonMobil, yeah, correct. And when the current president Ali visited the deal, it found out that what was in the deal, was not beneficial and satisfactory to Guyanese. So they had to review that deal, especially with ExxonMobil. And I think by now they on a better terms in terms of, you know, the deal. I am saying this simply to say, let me warn politicians, and let me warn, I don't care on which side, but I am warning politicians. You get your majority in parliament does not determine to you that you can do what you want, and you just pass in a second-hand information to the people of St. Lucia. You need to have, and I can even say, you need to have town hall with the people of St. Lucia. Educate them about GPH and what's its intern in the deal. You don't just go and sign this and you just pass in a little press release, whatever it is, and we just have to accept that. Huh? We just have to accept it. It is just like $201 million from the Saudis. What about if this government did not complete century and the other one come and they want to do some changes? You know, and you...
Hello?
But when you do things like that, you make sure you are running a country with like a military junta, and nobody must not question you. Anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you so much for calling. WhatsApp message. Tim, please note that the portion of land between Rendezvous Hotel and the VG Cemetery is being sold to the Rendezvous Malabar Hotel. As a young man living at Le Clery, I can remember when we had a problem bathing or resting on the beach at the front of the Malabar Hotel. Where will the young men and even Suku recreate and play their small goals football? This sale should be stopped. And let me see if I have another WhatsApp message. Okay. I don't. Let's see if we have some more. So in the meantime, we take a call. Good afternoon, NewsSpin. You're there. Hello. Good afternoon. 452-2979. What's in the chat room, Kimani?
We have a few comments in the chat room. Someone says, I would like to know what's new with the passport. Another comment, MSc exams isn't supposed to be a big deal, but they're treating it like common entrance. Tim, we have to stop talking. Where is the opposition? They need to make their presence felt. Someone says, PJP will not sell us out. I do trust him. Another comment, the port does not fall within the jurisdiction of the National Trust. Someone says,
I disagree with that. That's ours. I mean, that's there for posterity. It does not come under the jurisdiction of the National Trust. that certainly, you're making an excuse for the St. Lucia National Trust as far as this issue is concerned. I mean, you had National Trust people, they were outside Parliament just a few years ago. They were demonstrating in that Black Lives, Matter issue. So, I mean, a matter involving the nation, it certainly would warrant the attention, involvement, participation of all groups on the island. Even a sporting organization can say, why aren't you providing me with information regarding this deal between the government and GPH?
Someone says, Labour Party can sell the whole of St. Lucia, and the people who were shouting and chanting, we don't want a white man, but time will tell. They will soon live under the white man, white people, and the black people will become slaves again. What is the point of emancipation? Another comment, someone says, are they going to bring their own workers as well, referring to GPH Holdings? Hi, Tim. I would love to hear you extend an invitation to the Prime Minister so we all could hear. Another comment, Tim, doesn't the leader of the opposition have access to these documents? If so, why hasn't he disclosed the information?
I think the onus, yes, he can disclose if he has access to the information, but the people who are charged with the responsibility to act on our behalf, those people who are elected into office, those people who form the government, those people, because GPH would not have held any kind of discussion, as far as I'm aware, prior to this signing with the leader of the opposition or any member of the opposition United Workers' Party. So foremost, who owes us an explanation? Our Prime Minister, Investment Minister, Tourism Minister, those people are the ones who should be furnishing us with the details.
That's it in the chat room, Tim.
WhatsApp message: the memories of St. Lucians are very short. If St. Lucia learned anything from Grindberg Gate with our seabed and its cost to the St. Lucian taxpayer, then it would be imperative to have public disclosure by the parties involved as it pertains to the devil in the details of this particular government venture. As you rightly indicated, other islands did strike deals with Grindberg only to find themselves like us in the international courts. The common denominator in the minds of the culprits in Grindberg is what done in the best interest of the people. Ha. Let's take a call. Good afternoon, NewsSpin. You are on the air. Hello.
Hello.
Good afternoon to you, caller.
Hello, NewsSpin. Yeah. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes. Hello, Timothy. Yes. I called yesterday. And
Yes, caller. I'm listening to you.
Yes, I called yesterday. I was the one that called yesterday talking about the fire, and I gave a story there.
Yeah.
And I was being persecuted and stuff. My picture was on the Star newspaper, and my name. You see how much exposure I got?
Right. What is the latest? What's new can you tell us today about this?
Nothing really, but listen to me. When somebody take prison in St. Lucia, there is persecute them a lot, When somebody been to prison in St. Lucia.
Have you been incarcerated for anything, sir?
Of course.
For what?
A felony.
Mm-hmm.
Is about, I came out in 1987, June 1987.
That's
Yeah,
it. That's for what period? For what period?
For how long?
Mm-hmm.
For how long?
Yeah.
3 years.
Okay.
That's the Old Majesty prison. And and then life is still very hard with me. Very difficult for me to get employment.
Because what?
And the government don't have nothing in place to cushion those kind of things. People that stigmatize you. So we St. Lucians, what I'm saying, we St. Lucians, we really need a lot of growing up, to grow out from them things,
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes somebody take jail, when they come from jail, people that stigmatize you so much, you just have to go back committing crime. Although I didn't, but it was very hard with me up to now. And when I lost my job with the Ministry of Education, I had a child mother and a child. Yeah. And it was a Christian woman that caused that to happen. She was a Christian woman, Seventh-day Church, the head teacher of the Anthropo Secondary School.
Okay.
So you see,
Caller, how do you want your problem to be resolved? First of all, what is your problem? Getting employment?
Of course.
Okay. And you're saying it's a while now that you have not been employed. Because I think you're coming from so many different angles about your home, gutted by fire. Now you see you've been in prison, you're being stigmatized. The other issue you're saying is that you had problems with the principal of that learning institution. I mean, it really seems the odds are really stacked against you, Connor.
Of course. And not only me, there are several people in St. Lucia. The odds are against Timothy.
Mm-hmm.
Several people. That is why the rate of crime cannot never go down. Because government not did nothing in place to cushion those kind of things. So people always have to turn back to crime.
Okay. But there's something also called Take the Initiative. What have you tried to do on your own to be gainfully employed? Are you just looking to the state for assistance?
No, well, I'm not looking to the state anymore. I used to look for empty bottles and go and sell them in the brewery.
That's all?
Yes.
But how can you live on this?
You see? You see how hard life is with me? So then I don't want nobody to feel sorry for me.
Mm-hmm.
I just want government to check on the others out there like me. You know, because those things just lead people back to committing crime. That's why people going repeatedly to prison all the time. Because the stigmatization, you know, frustration, you name it, depressed, that causing you to go back to prison. You see how hard I'm trying to not to go back there. Over 30-something years outside.
That's very good.
Of course.
Mm-hmm. That's commendable of you, sir.
You see? So, and when I look at that, I would say, you see Peter Josie? That comment Peter Josie gave there some time back. I give him all his rights to say that because he was in both political parties, both Labour and Smavo. So he know all the things that going on inside of there. All the wrong things. He's fully aware of it. So I giving him kudos for making that comment. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much for calling and all the best to you. Let's take another call as we continue via WhatsApp. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You are on the air.
Hello, good afternoon, Tim. How are you doing?
I'm okay, caller. Good afternoon to you.
All right, Tim. Now, Tim, that's what we have to talk about. You know how many times somebody like you will get discouraged if you were listening to what people say about you, you'd never be on Newsmaker Live? Mm-hmm. You know, that's the attitude we black men have. You know, like somebody have to come and do something for us. You want nobody to have to do nothing for us. They have children out there, their parents put them out early, very early on the streets. They had to go and work. A lot of people have the mentality that they will not work and things will just fall from the sky and they will reach in their hands. That's a bad mentality we St. Lucians have. Have a great day, team.
Okay, sir. You as well. We continue to discuss the issues in the news and matters of concern to you. This is NewsSpin on Power 97.9 FM. We are also on YouTube and the NewsSpin Facebook page. Our question of the day, not a word on the special prosecutor. Not a word on the special prosecutor. Stay with us.
There is only one option when they arrive. Our services will make the dead look alive. With Bouteille and Beaufort accessibility. Remember, we have the only private cemetery. No one can match our prices from coffins to corsage. Personalized service you get when Lazarus take charge. Quality service, no package to make your wallet bleed. Lazarus is your true friend in your time of need.
Attention all cricket fans and KFC lovers. Brace as your St. Lucia Kings hit the field live in St. Lucia this August at the Darren Sammy Cricket Stadium. Purchase your Kings box for just $20 for 5 dipping wings, 1 piece chicken, 1 regular fries, and 1 regular soda. Drop your receipt in the box provided and get a chance to witness the games live. Don't be stumped. Follow KFC St. Lucia on social media and tune into this radio station to see if you'll be one of the lucky daily winners. Check press and visit our pages for game dates and times. Every match is a must-see. Cheer on your Kings and let's hit the field like champions. Win regular and VIP tickets to all the games. Compliments KFC.
It all started with a penny. For over 85 years, we have invested in our farmers, fishermen, people, and our country. When we were called to serve, we were here. We understand what is valuable to our people and our country. That is why we support all industries, including tourism. We are the bridge towards a brighter future and economic growth. When our people, government, and businesses called upon us, we were here. 85 years later, First National Bank St. Lucia Limited is here for you.
Introducing the new LuCelect Virtual Service Desk, where one click is your access to every service. From my account to streetlight reports, requests for payment arrangements to settle arrears, change of name and address. Easy online forms give you access from anywhere and at any time. Every service you need at your fingertips. Go to our website, luselect.com, and click on the Virtual Service Desk widget. Luselect's Virtual Service Desk. Every solution at your fingertips.
You asked for it and you got it. A quicker way to pay your bills online. It's fast, secure, and easy to use. No registration, no additional fees. Flow is now offering FastPay, an online service that allows you to settle your bills in less than 2 minutes. Need a receipt? FastPay will send it to your email immediately. Use FastPay now for convenience, safety, and efficiency at discoverflow.co/fastpay. Flow is keeping you connected.
NightMeds is your dependable neighborhood pharmacy. You'll notice that upon entry, you are greeted by caring professional staff, attentive to your every need. Your prescriptions are always treated with a high degree of confidentiality, and we pride ourselves on providing speedy, efficient service. We carry a wide array commonly requested over-the-counter products, and our prices are very competitive. We offer blood pressure testing, blood sugar, and cholesterol testing. We're open to fill your prescriptions Monday to Saturday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Come visit Sadhu's gas station on the Miku Highway or call us at 572-6840 or WhatsApp 461-6840 for more information. NightMeds Pharmacy. We are your community med store.
Automotive Art is a place to start.
Automotive Art is now bigger and better with bargains galore. Automotive Art has expanded. With new exciting products and increased shopping comfort, we welcome you to visit. Celebrate with us and take advantage of our specials. New tires starting at $129, 25% off all tools and accessories, up to 75% off rims, BOGO specials, car care bundles, and other bargains galore. Automotive Art, bigger and better.
Earlier on, we received a call from an individual expressing his concerns about his travails and the lack of support from the authorities. Now, not everyone would be able to surmount those challenges on their own. Sometimes the system must come into play. People in the community must also provide assistance and support. Counseling is also an issue because, take, for example, the serious crime problem we've been experiencing in St. Lucia for the last few years. The many young males who have been gunned down, they have left behind several children, 2, 3, 4 children, young children. Who would normally look after those children? A single parent. Sometimes this individual is very young, unemployed, uneducated. Where are the support systems? But in other instances, people learn to persevere and work assiduously towards achieving a goal. So in that light, let's hear from Dr. Angelina Poleon of the Opposition United Workers' Party. She's an opposition senator, just recently got a doctorate in education. And she says you can achieve your goals with perseverance.
This journey was not a walk in the park. It wasn't. This was a true test of one's tenacity, determination, hard work, and perseverance. And I want to encourage every single one, every single St. Lucian, and I notice there are some students here. I want to encourage you to always pursue your dreams. That even if you may encounter some challenges, bear in mind that challenges are not insurmountable. Whatever you set your mind to, you can achieve it. With courage, with perseverance, and a strong desire to defy those odds, you can achieve your goals. There are many children, school children, young people, young adults, young teachers who have dreams, and sometimes these dreams are lost because of what other people say, that hey, it is impossible. No, don't be fooled by that. Stick at it and pursue your dreams. As I said, whatever you put your mind to, you will be able to achieve.
Speaking in the Senate earlier today, Angelina Poleon, she's now Dr. Angelina Poleon, recently attaining her doctorate in education. She says you can achieve your goals with perseverance. Let's take a call via WhatsApp. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You are on the air. Hello. Hello, good afternoon. Okay, we lost that call. Let's see if we have some more calls coming in once again at 452-2979. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Jim.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon to you, caller.
Yes, let's speak concerning the guy who spoke about prison, Tim. I personally have not been to prison and probably have done things differently. Now, when you in a situation like St. Lucia, and I tell you that I know, because in prison you learn a lot. When you come out, if you learn your lesson, other people can learn from you. But when you talk about somebody like me, I tell you, well, I have an experience that taught me a lot about what's going on in the country. And I can answer all the questions. You know why I say that? If you're in group 2, Tim, and you can answer all the questions in group 2, let's say an undeveloped country for that, an example. If you're in group 2, Tim, they have to send you to group 1. So nobody can tell you don't know all the answers in group 2. St. Lucia have no big issue there. As a matter of fact, the backwardness in St. Lucia is being more or less championed by those who don't allow free speech or who have the opportunity to allow the conversation to take place, because we can't go and debate in parliament. Although we see they put a lot of stupid people in parliament, people who should have been in prison. But the other thing is, Tim, after you have done so much to, people should learn from you. You're unable to express it, so nobody can learn from it. And you cannot even sometimes take advantage of the situation because probably, it's something that, people they're not used to. They don't like anything new, they don't like to see, well, okay, now everywhere we have food enough in the country because of McDonald, he probably got over his issues. He's a farmer, he was having problems, and so the government do help farmers. He was able to bypass that. So other people can learn. Either somebody see you playing a guitar or he was there, he have his music, other people can come and play and learn. When you don't allow that to happen, if you don't allow me to express myself, these things I cannot put out. And eventually it will come to a point where, just like the certain fellows, they go back to prison. I was never in prison. I'm not going back to prison. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm going to do is to establish what people always felt I was. I had everything at my disposal. You know what I'm saying? All the education and everything like that. I have to resort to that, and those who are in class, in stage or in group 2, it's up to them. Those who are in an underdeveloped country like St. Lucia, there is no room for that now. There is no underdeveloped country in Africa. The situation is popping up where people have to say, well, I'm hungry. And where the food is, you have to take it, or the person does have to leave your food and go in this country. You can't feed France with all your minerals. St. Lucians is the exact same thing. The politicians, they are so, glued to the colonial fellas, Tim. And people like me when I get my chance to express myself, all St. Lucians will be free. That's why the whole system here, everybody, they don't want me to express myself. And they saying all kinds of things that are untrue.
Yeah, because caller is very confusing listening to you, because you flit from issue to issue to issue. You don't develop your point.
But the other thing is, come on, most St. Lucians don't even have an issue with what is going on. So what I'm talking about, I'm always in line, Tim. Nobody can tell me I'm mad. Tim, my last job was at the head of a hotel, building a hotel with everything. I've been first in every exam. I did vote of thanks when I graduated. I have so many things that people know. But somebody did something to me, or to the people in St. Lucia. And people in St. Lucia like that, so they enjoy that more than the good gardening and the healthy living. Everybody in St. Lucia have malnutrition. You touch them, they fall. Everybody have a walking stick. And they don't realize I have the answers to all of that, because they are trying to actually make me look like I am sick and stupid and I can't talk. But that is rubbish, Tim.
Caller, sometimes I must confess to you, sometimes I really hate my
No,
job.
because that is the thrill
I
that
do.
has been that I have to follow. Because many people where they knew that I had everything, everything for them. They try to take it and they go forward. People like IPA and jump, leapfrog me and go into different people in the community. People where I started the thing, gave them the opportunity, and they stole it and they wasted it. So I am the one who have to do it by myself. You can call me confusing if you want to, but I'm doing what I have to do.
Okay.
And I know I always do it because I always get 100% in everything I do. I always come first. I always pass. So you cannot fail me now.
I'm not failing you. I give you like a 15%. Not really. You tried. Thank you so much for calling, sir. Thank you. All right, Kimani, what's in the chat room? Any comments worth going through?
Someone says, what will SASPA's position be in relation to their roles at the ports? Customs also has some measure of interest. Security control movement of persons may be a challenge if the rules are not clearly defined. I ask, as the port is primarily a commercial port tending to import and export of goods, with tourism as a secondary function. Although commercial activity is not given priority on busy days when cruise ships are plentiful. Someone says there are too many social problems in the country and the law isn't being enforced because of lack of social programs and poverty. St. Lucia's problem in a nutshell. If your house is occupied with criminals, would you invite the cops in for a visit? That special prosecutor will never see a day of work under this Labour administration. They knew that all along. It was done just to give their supporters something to talk about. Someone says, good afternoon, Timothy. I'm enjoying your show. I agree with what you are saying regarding the ports. This government campaigned on a transparency and accountability. All they have to do is let the St. Lucian public know so we can prepare ourselves if needed against any surprises in the future. There needs to be pressure on the government from the opposition, media and other groups to reveal this. That is it in the chat room.
Thank you so much, Kimani. We'll be going through comments in the chat room momentarily and we'll be rejoining you in just a moment. In the meantime, let's take a call. Good afternoon. You are on the air. Hello.
Tim, good day. How are you doing?
I'm okay, sir. Good afternoon to you.
All right. Tim, you know I watched your show last night, Newsmaker.
Newsmaker Live.
And let me tell you, your caller a while ago said about how effective NewsSpin is and so on and so on. And while I support your show, I know it's popular, but it's not just NewsSpin that's popular, you know. You see, when the public is seeking answers and they expose certain, because Tim, you go in our society, your single voice, you don't have much weight, you know. You go to the bank and there are 1,000 people there. Nobody's in a hurry to serve anybody. You as soon as you see one person complains, you get everybody supporting them, and then action is taken by the supervisor.
It appears that everywhere you go these days, you go to the bank, there is one teller. You go to certain government institutions, there's one cashier or one individual there. You go to some supermarkets, one or two cashiers, and the lines are so long. I don't think we understand the importance of customer service. I don't think we understand doing everything that is possible to ensure when a customer walks out of your operation, your business establishment, that customer is satisfied. He or she will return in a hurry to patronize your establishment.
Yeah, Tim, you know I was at a particular institution yesterday. And when it was lunchtime, everybody left and they closed the place. A public office, you know. And I'm wondering, that should have that went out of the door 50 years ago. I cannot believe that in 2023, August, that government doors are closing and for lunch, and everybody's going outside for lunch. So where are we going? In what year will we stop we have better practices? But Tim, the main reason I called, I listened to the end of your show last night. And I'm saying again, it comes back to the same thing, how uninformed people are. The Cabot land situation. You mean there is a St. Lucian who doesn't know or don't understand? Or if they're just pretending that they don't know that the land that was sold to Cabot was not government land or Crown land? You think there is anybody in St. Lucia who doesn't know that?
There might be a couple people.
Living where? In Mount Jimmy or somewhere?
In St. Lucia, there might be a couple people.
Tim, let me tell you that. The persons who called the show and was giving your guests a hard time last night, you think they don't know better?
Okay, what those people have been, what the people are saying, or what they said last night was, the NIC should have purchased the land. And as a result of that, they would have been able to make a bigger profit off it. Now, what the NIC is saying is that, yes, they had an interest, but in the end, the financial institution that they had discussions with, which because the land was in receivership, the financial institution said that they had some arrangement, prior arrangement with another establishment that was Cabot. So, and the other thing that's puzzling is that people like to say, but sell it to St. Lucians. I mean, St. Lucians, unfortunately, do not show interest. We're not that enterprising, you know. To come together, 5, 10 individuals to say, let's purchase this land and let's, establish some kind of business, a golf course, or anything of that nature on it, or a hotel. It's only when it is sold to a foreigner that people start to say, boys have been sold to a St. Lucian. We don't show interest in those things.
Yeah, but Tim, I want to blame NIC in part for that and our public officers, because I don't think the public officers are serving. For example, Tim, and NIC was brought in that question again. The Banan land, people may ask, why did NIC not buy it?
Yeah.
Why didn't Slasper buy it? Did you hear Slasper say anything about not buying the Banan's land?
No, we have not heard from Slasper officials.
Why do you think a public office like Slasper cannot speak? Why do you think so?
Well, they're muzzled.
Why, Tim?
But they're muzzled.
My question is why? Why are public officers held? You see the rules. The government has certain rules, public service rules. And it doesn't serve the public, Because the same reason I'm asking you those questions is that you can answer, I can answer. But you have rules preventing the public from getting answers. So what's the sense of the rules? SLASPA cannot answer because they don't want to offend anybody. NIC cannot answer unless it's too late. Hey, Lucy, you're having a problem now on your show, and you call, and it's a Lucy Lake matter. Somebody from Lucy Lake call in. Why can't somebody from the public service call your show? Why is government preventing those things from happening? Because they want the people to remain stupid. Because you have all kind of fool, and from the persons who were calling last night are not ignorant people, They are not unintelligent people. They are deliberately doing what they're doing.
That's their job. They're hacks.
I don't know what you want to call them. I would call them a different name. But they're deliberately doing what they're doing. So who are we serving when we behave so? Sometimes I don't want to even listen to... I like NewsSpin, Tim. But sometimes, I get sick with NewsSpin, When I look at the comments on your...
the chat room.
The chat room, man. It makes me feel sorry for us sometimes, And I can do without that stress. I can just stay without listening.
Well, don't see that stress. In some cases, that's entertainment, caller. Don't look at it as stress.
It gets to you, Tim. If you read, I'm sure if you read all the comments.
I do.
I'll make Kimani read them.
I do.
But have a good...
For example, I read some comments in the chat room on News Maker Live last evening. Somebody said, Tim, your flappers, you're beating your flappers. You know what I mean? That's just fun, okay? All right, so talking about this whole Cabot situation. Last evening, my last caller on Newsmaker Live was Rick Wayne, and he posed several questions to my guest, Mr. Frank Myers, chartered accountant.
Frank, the land was owned by who?
It was owned by a company that went into receivership or was put into receivership by Scotiabank.
Good. So the land was in receivership. So
The company that owned the land was in receivership.
So no St. Lucian owned it. It was in receivership, the Canadian Bank. Am I right?
That's it. Yeah.
Good. Now, you said that there was a time when the NIC had an interest in purchasing how much land? How much of the land were they interested in purchasing?
At the time, we had the capacity to buy all the land.
Okay, all the land. Why was the bank interested at that particular point? I don't mean the bank. Hello?
Say it again. Repeat the question.
Why was the NIC interested at that particular time in purchasing the land? What was it that
we would think because don't forget our mandate is basically.
I'm aware of that. Yeah. But why exactly? Because you said at one point because it was in receivership for something like 13 years or 9 years, whatever. It was in receivership all this time, and you said at one time there was an interest on the part of the NIC to purchase the land, right? So I'm now trying to find out what was it that inspired the NIC to want to purchase the land. In other words, for what purpose?
We basically
just to own it?
We had a lot of money lying around on which we were owning absolutely no interest, and the land seemed like a good investment opportunity for the NIC. That was the reason.
But by buying the land, was there investment gains there for NIC?
Yeah, long term.
So why did the NIC choose not to buy the land ultimately?
We didn't choose not to buy the land. The bank would not sell us the land because they had given a commitment to a third party to sell the land to them.
Now, I interviewed somebody on that question before. Hello?
I'm listening.
Yeah, Rick, you there?
I introduced, when all this fuss was going on, I tried to get the various related departments in St. Lucia to talk to me on the show about this, and nobody would. One or two talked to me on the phone, but would not. Now, that's a very interesting point you just made there, that you tried to buy the land, but you were turned down because they had a prior commitment. Am I correct on that?
Yes.
Okay. So, and I'm assuming that prior commitment was the people from Cabot.
The Cabot people, yes.
Okay. So, somebody asked you a while ago, if Cabot had so much money, why wouldn't they buy the place cash?
Yes, that question was asked.
Is it normal for people with millions and billions, including people like Elon Musk and all those? Because I just saw Elon Musk in some problems about paying mortgages and bills right now, recently. Is it normal for people to, even if they have tons of money, to buy land or buy projects cash? Or do they take loans?
Not really. People at a particular point in time, while they may be worth a lot, they may be down in terms of liquid cash at a particular point in time. But in terms of assets, they're worth a lot.
I mean, a guy can have the money to buy a car cash, and he'll still go to the bank and get a loan to buy a car, no?
Yes, he can do that. But a man may also have assets which are not immediately convertible into cash.
I'm asking you those apparently simplistic questions because that's where the devil is in the details. You know, that's why I'm asking you that.
No, no problem with that.
Okay, so Cabot came to you for a loan. Am I right?
Yes.
Operating on the principle that was set up in the time of Emma Hippolyte to invest NIC money. It was set up in the time of Emma Hippolyte. Am I correct in that?
There's an investment policy. I don't know when it was set up.
I think it was done in the time of Kenny Anthony. As a matter of fact, that place, that Emma Coral, Blue Coral, was bought under that principle, wasn't it?
I don't know under what principle it was bought, because that one is just a hole in the ground.
Well, you know, but NIC invested in it.
Yes,
is what I'm saying.
We did, yeah. We did.
And it turned out to be a bad investment.
A bad investment, yeah.
Okay. So I'm just trying to establish that the Cabot thing was not the first time. Now, the other question is, did the NIC at any time have any, get any inquiries from any St. Lucian or any group of St. Lucians to purchase the land?
No, never.
What I'm supposed to ask, you know, is why is it that government departments are so reluctant to give out this kind of detailed information, ABC information to people. When, if you don't do it, politicians will twist and turn. And look, you can't even deal with the question there tonight, because I want to tell you, I know something about it, but the impression that's coming out of there doesn't look good. I mean, those questions are asked you there, and he obviously had his own purpose. And they're the people who believe there's something crazy went down with the NIC and Cabot. They believe that. And they're simple questions to be answered. So now, why did Cabot, having taken the loan, why did the loan not just go through the normal process and you get your monthly whatever?
I think the loan was paid off early by Cabot in an attempt to protect their reputation, because a lot of the stuff going on at the time seemed to suggest that Cabot had done something wrong in taking out the loan from the NIC. So I think they pulled out just to protect their reputation.
So
okay, final question, Rick.
Yeah, how much approximately did we lose? Well, I don't know if I write the right word. Did we lose on that loan deal?
Well, we forwent about $9 million. We should have made about 11. We made 2 because of the early payment by Cabot.
Rick Wayne being interviewing my guest, Frank Myers, chartered accountant, on last evening's News Maker Live. Still to come, we have a whole lot more in store for you on this broadcast, which is being heard on Power 97.9 FM. You're watching on our NewsSpin Facebook page and also YouTube.
Lazarus's Funeral Home is here for you. Lazarus's Private Cemetery offers a peaceful resting place for your loved ones. With tranquil settings, visitation, and reflection, we believe in the compassionate care of all our departed loved ones. Lazarus's Private Cemetery, let us help you create a final resting place. Make it special. Make it Lazarus's Funeral Home, your friend in a time of need. Payment plans are available for tombs. Call us in Vidbouté at 452-7491 or in New Dock Road, VA4, 454-6555.
Lucilec aveti ou pour point précaution diwan saison cyclone sa la. Mi an ti commission qui kaywen de ou protéger la vie ou ek propriétaire ou. Diwan mauvais temps, si l'année en chaise éclair ek l'ouaille, déplogue toute appliance et puis équipement qui ka servi courant électrique. Zéclair sa hausse quantité courant à sous système courant Lucilec, appliance et équipement qui en service et dommagé. Fait assis ou ni flashlight, radio qui ka servi batterie et l'autre batterie qui fouet à sous réserve pour si en cas la pe panique courant. Ça c'était en commission Hod Lucilec.
It all started with a penny. For over 85 years, we have invested in our farmers, fishermen, people, and our country. When we were called to serve, we were here. We understand what is valuable to our people and our country. That is why we support all industries, including tourism. We are the bridge towards a brighter future and economic growth. When our people, government, and businesses called upon us, we were here. 85 years later, First National Bank St. Lucia Limited is here for you.
Why pay full price for your mobile when you can pay half? Just bundle your home internet and mobile services with Flow and save 50% on your mobile bill. That's money in your pocket every month. Plus, now you get free YouTube and WhatsApp data. And you can share your plan with up to 3 other numbers. Upgrade now and get a free smartphone. Switch and keep your number. Learn more at discoverflow.co.
It's an exciting back-to-school alert at KFC. Spend $15 or more and get a chance to win a Dell laptop, a stylish backpack loaded with supplies, KFC vouchers, and a cool KFC water bottle. Here's how to enter. Simply write your name and number on your receipt in the designated area and drop it in the back-to-school promotion box at your nearest KFC store. Promotion ends on August 31st, 2023. Winners from each store will be revealed on September 1st. Let's make this school year the best one yet with KFC's back-to-school promotion.
Check. We got a wide range of products that are automotive and do-it-yourself supplies if you got a moment. Smart staff that'll always know it. Got rims and tires from trucks to high performance to off-roading. Start here, tools, batteries, oil, and car care.
Ouais, messieurs, aujourd'hui, moi la KSP plein bon glow, hein. Si t'es là, pani pressure. Moi ni tongue, moi ni glow, mais money pressure. Ou savez ça moi besoin? A pump. Ça c'est bêtise. Moi ka aller ko Europa. Yo ni toute pump pour toute condition. Qui pour kay, qui pour business. Yo ni primaire pour pump cette ici. Yo ka ranger pump aussi qui besoin service. Brand pump yo c'est Léo. Pump ça c'est major. Ils vont tout bonnement. Tant si ten moins actuellement. Gloka Fonte. Visitez Europa ambassade Gozile. Les mots au téléphone 452 0763.
Online calling from the diaspora has received via WhatsApp. Good afternoon. This is NewsSpin. You're on the air.
Good afternoon, Tim. How are you?
I'm okay, sir. Good afternoon to you.
Tim, I listened to your show last night, Newsmaker Live, and it was very interesting. And the thing is, I find it very, very informative. But where I have the issue is on the fact that people tend to have some kind of misinformation or some kind of misunderstanding as to the land and who Cabot is and even who owned that land. Tim, I want to share some information, a little light on this thing. Have anybody in St. Lucia tried to figure out who and where Scotiabank is? Tim, Scotiabank is actually a bank of Canada, but actually from Nova Scotia. Now, Nova Scotia is actually a province that is in Canada, on the east end of Canada. And I want people to go and look it up.
And you are calling from Canada?
That bank, yes, I am, Tim.
Yeah.
You know, that bank have been there a long time ago. You know, it was founded back in the early sometime late in the 1800s. You understand? Now, who is Cabot? Tim, there are about 100 prestige golf courses in the world. And in Nova Scotia has the number 9 ranking best golf course in the world. You know who owns that golf course? Cabot. It's called Cabot Cliff. You can look it up. You see, what I don't understand, Tim, is people don't tend to want to look at the background of things. Cabot is actually, you would say, like a brother and sister to Scotia, to Nova Scotia. Because if Cabot is investing money in Nova Scotia, and Scotiabank, at that time too, Tim, let's be clear, Scotiabank was already leaving St. Lucia, right?
The Caribbean.
The Caribbean on the whole, right? So, don't you find it fitting that Scotiabank would sell their assets to Cabot instead, knowing that it will be kept to a Canadian company? You see, this is where I have a problem with our people. We have to look at the background. And some years ago, Tim, I tried to explain a little on that, but I had to do a little bit more digging, a little bit more research as to, you know, who is Cabot. And when I listened to that gentleman yesterday, I said, you know what? I want to try to call you today. Tim, what I can say, Tim, is if you can at least make people understand why that land was not sold to the NIC. It is very important because people are believing that this land was owned by St. Lucian or by the country itself. You know, in the same voice that we're saying that our land's supposed to be sold to St. Lucians. If the bank is from Canada and the bank owes land in St. Lucia, who you want them to sell it to, Tim? Don't they have the right to sell their asset to whoever they want?
Yeah.
Now, here is one thing that I don't understand. Tim, that $23 million we're speaking of, isn't that the value of the land, that what Cabot purchased the land for, right?
My information is not the value of the land. So
what is it?
I don't know the exact value, but as far as the land was surveyed and a determination was made that it was worth a lot more than what it was being sold for. Yeah.
I am happy you saying that, because I heard that before, and I'm glad you said that. Now, if Scotia sold that land undervalued to one of its own, which is Cabot, where is the problem, Tim?
Yeah, because
that what the housing minister did?
Because very often that's what banks want to do. They just want to get rid of whatever.
Yeah, they cut their losses
and they just move on. Yeah.
Yeah, But in that case, Tim, I have to try to find out more of that information, because I am telling you that bank didn't move away from Cabot. That bank gave Cabot, sold that land to Cabot for a reason. And here's that reason, Tim. Cabot builds golf courses, and they build some of the best golf courses in the world. However, $23 million cannot develop the golf course, Tim.
Yeah.
It cannot. So who is to tell you that the same bank isn't where Cabot has his loan to develop that golf course here in St. Lucia? Who is to tell you that? That's not the case. You see, we need to open our mind as to how things work in the real world, Tim. Tim, do you know that Cabot company is trading on the world market? This is not a small company we're talking about, These guys are worth more than $3.7 or $3.8 billion. You understand? So I came to the conclusion, and that's me coming to the conclusion. Cabot paid that $23 million and did away with that NIC loan, because in my humble opinion, Cabot was doing St. Lucia a favor by taking that small loan with NIC. They're actually giving back $11 million because they're paying that interest, right?
Yeah.
So that's a good way to start off business in a country, because I'm actually helping your citizens invest their money to get some profits, right? And however, Cabot would know that they would be bringing in money in the country, but that money was going to be, most of the investment was going to be going out of country, because up to now you cannot tell me where Cabot take that loan to be developing that golf course. No one can point a finger at any financial company in St. Lucia that borrowed Cabot money to develop the golf course. You see, now here's where I have the problem. We tend to raise an issue for the wrong things, Tim, because now who is to tell you that millions of dollars are leaving the country when Cabot have that golf course open? Because the money is not going to stay here, Tim. It's not. Now it's going to be going outside of the country. More of it will be going outside of the country. Whereas if Cabot were to be investing more in terms of taking loans in the country to develop that golf course, over time, we would be getting more of that money of the golf course staying on island. You see where I'm coming from, Tim?
How we stand to benefit now is through employment. And I understand a number of St. Lucians are currently employed at the facility right now as we speak. But
that's minimal. That's minimal, Tim. That is the minimal, Tim. Because there are companies in Canada that are employing people out of the country to come and work on their whether it's their farms or their businesses there, Tim.
Yeah.
And they know that the money that is going out, this is minimal amount of money that is leaving the country. You see, we have to think better than that. And it's high time we St. Lucians, when we hear politicians say something, the new phones, the new gadgets that we tend to love, make use of it. Google the name of the people. See what institution, what's the background of that institution. Don't let people just say things and then go and repeat it, and then you right away you believe it, because you know what? If Tim say it, it's true. That's the wrong approach to things, Tim. Thank you very much for your time, Tim.
Thank you so much. Kimani, what is in the chat room?
Someone says, Timothy, doing business in St. Lucia is impossible. You know how hard it is. Wishing birthday greetings to Curti Francois. Another comment, it's time the government recommend oversight committees on all ministries to help weed out some of this injustice being done by these ministers. Another comment, how possible would it be for NewsSpin to have the past and present ministers in charge of the CIP to give a financial account of revenue collected, how it was spent and the remaining balance in the coffers? The people want and deserve full transparency on this matter. We have a need and right to know. Another comment, working hours are clearly defined in the general agreement. Till it's changed, the status remains. I agree it needs revision. We have some other comments in the chat room. Someone says, I love the caller's contribution. Another comment, someone says, caller, you are explaining this cardboard situation very, very well. All points well explained. That's it in the chat room.
All right, thank you so much. We continue to take your calls on the broadcast. This is NewsSpin. Let me see if I have a notice to go through right now. Just please bear with me. A notice coming from the St. Lucia Electricity Services Limited, and that is LUCELEC. And it reads that LUCELEC wishes to advise customers and the general public that its customer service offices over in Castries and VFO will be closed to the public on Friday, August 11th, 2023. And this closure is necessary to facilitate staff participation in a work activity. Normal business will resume at all offices on Monday, August the 14th, 2023 at 8 o'clock in the morning. Customers who wish to make payments during the closure period are kindly advised to access the My Account service at myaccount.lucelec.com, SurePay's online and walk-in service options, or the financial institutions that offer this service. For account balances, customers may call the automated account inquiry service line at 457-4433, that's 457-4433, and access other LUCELEC services on the virtual service desk at www.lucelec.com. The management of LUCELEC regrets any inconvenience that this closure may cause and thanks all for their patience and understanding. 452-2979. Good afternoon. NewsSpin, you are on the air. Hello. Hello, good afternoon. Okay, we seem to have lost that call. Let me see if I have any of your WhatsApp messages to go through right now. So just please bear with me while we try to go through as many of your contributions as possible. Tim, I thought this present government campaigned on accountability and transparency. What happened now? Questions, questions, questions. And I think we have a call. Good afternoon. Hello.
Good afternoon, Tim.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon to you.
Timothy, I only hope I have as much right as everybody else on your show, Tim. And it's not, as a St. Lucian, Tim,
Cole, I'm not in that St. Lucian thing, you know. Just as a St. Lucian, I give you preferential treatment.
No,
it's hold on. It's the nature of your contribution. You could be from Mars, you call NewsSpin. I treat you according to your contribution. If I believe I should curtail your contribution, I will curtail it. If I need I should extend it, I will extend it. Not as a solution.
Bristol, are you gonna let me speak to him?
Yeah, now I'll let you speak.
Tim Bristol, you said something without any facts the last time to meet him. Because after I made my statement, Tim, my contribution, you said that somebody gave me something to read out to him.
No, I never said that. I said you read your what I said. You read your talking points.
No. You said
your talking points.
Well, Tim, I always speak out from what I see ahead of me, Tim. You know, what is affecting me in the country, what is affecting my people, because I have children in this country, I have grandchildren, I have nieces, nephews, and all over this country. Tim, my problem too, the reason why I call you today, Tim, I heard a gentleman make a contribution big time on Carbot. I respect that, Tim. Carbot, yes, employing people. When we look at vis-a-vis Reno Kajada, Look at the number of people Reno Kajada is employing in this country, Tim. I don't think I would have quarter of that. And we could go there.
But caller, why the need to make the comparison? Because Reno's contribution towards the economic development of this country and employment and so on is beyond doubt. No one is doubting that. So I don't know why you want to make the contribution, the comparison, sir.
Where I'm going, Tim, is that the land that Reno purchased as a St. Lucian, we have an issue with that. A lot of people in this country have an issue with it. There is a hotel building on the opposite side of Reno at Point Surfing. Land, that property was sold to a foreign company, Tim. Not one person made it, and that is on the waterfront, Tim. The waterfront of St. Lucia. And not one St. Lucian comment or made any big thing about it, Tim. That is the double standard I don't like in my country, because I am seeing prime property where our cruise ships heading in, and we're seeing that there is that entrance to the marina of Point Surfing there. That property it's gone, and I'm all in for development, but it's a tight spot when you have a cruise ship entering the harbor, working in the harbor at the very same time, and you're going to put a hotel right in that very same area. Let us look and see how good it will go, Tim. But St. Lucians never had a problem with it. Tim, my other concern, Tim, as a St. Lucian, is I spoke about that road, right? The Millennium Highway. I even lost a tire, brand new tire on that road, Tim. And I said about 8 months back that the company that is actually taking that has a contract on that project doesn't know, have a clue of what's really happening. Tim, and I got that from good ground. I worked on the new bridge, Tim. I worked with all the engineers there. I was one of those companies that was employing a lot of the workers down there. Tim, I worked with the Japanese. We finished that project. It's going on 8 months already, Tim. We built a whole bridge in 2 years, Tim. Complete bridge. Tim, Sir William doesn't have a clue of what's really taking place on that Millennium Highway, Tim. It's a sad situation. To see that is just a cash trap for St. Lucian again, where a company is just taking millions of dollars and it's just going to waste. They dig in one place today, they're back on it tomorrow, they leave and they go another place, and basically it's the very same thing going on, and we're not seeing no results out of it. If it was Reno that had that project, Tim, I could guarantee you that finished. Very good. Good afternoon to you, Tim.
Same to you, sir. Tim, listening to some of your male callers today, it is evident that this is a cry for help. They're literally crying out and seeking some form of guidance and a sense of direction. Can some NGO or government agency intervene and provide some counseling at the minimum? Let's see if we have some more of your messages in the chat room. Somebody says they're looking forward to seeing a fire station in Ancillary and Canaries before the next election. We have a call. Good afternoon, NewsSpin. You are on the air.
Tim.
Good afternoon to you.
I don't know where all those voices were when Cabot was going on, because I didn't hear one supportive voice for the project. And I remember I interviewed Christine, who was associated at that time, and she was open to questions, and questions were asked of her. None of those questions that are causing the problem are at. Tim, you know who owns the banks in St. Lucia?
Well, we have a few indigenous banks, such as First National, locally owned. We have the Bank of St. Lucia. I think the majority of you have some shares there owned by the government of St. Lucia. Majority is owned by Trinidad, but most of the banks, other banks, foreign owned.
The majority of the banks in St. Lucia
foreign owned,
with the interest of their foreign shareholders.
Yeah.
Okay. I say that because it baffles somebody, or at least they're complaining about that. Why would a billionaire company not come cash? Well, we've been through that one already. And why didn't they go to a bank? Well, number one, going to the NIC is more profitable to us than going to the bank. Eh?
Yes.
But people bring that up. And I wonder why, up to this day, if there are these questions, there's nothing wrong with St. Lucians asking questions. Why the government, when in opposition, that made such a fuss about the wrongs and the criminality and the non-nationalism displayed by something. Why right now they don't put people's minds to rest, both for the government's sake, so they don't look bad in terms of you didn't like it then, now you like it now.
But they're looking bad already, Rick. I don't think they could put in a defense.
I am saying I don't want to go there. I am saying if the government had an inkling of evidence supportive of their complaint when they were opposing the project, when they were opposing, and they might well tell you they weren't exposing the project per se, but they were opposing that it went through as it did the NIC. If there's anything wrong or offline or what, don't you think the government owes it to the people of St. Lucia? Owes it to the people of St. Lucia? Forget about even owing it to Cabot.
They can't find any, maybe because they cannot find anything wrong.
NIC, and also the integrity of the NIC. That if the government had the smallest evidence of an integrity problem with the NIC at a particular time, don't you think it's very important information that the government should by now have let it out?
That would be the ethical thing to do, Rick. But it's not in the interest of just that issue now.
I don't know. I'm just saying if there is something wrong or was something wrong in the Cabot situation, why is it we've heard nothing about it since July whatever? We've heard nothing about it.
But their silence should tell you something.
And let me make another one of my controversial statements. If Philip J. Pierre was in New York and somebody introduced him to an entrepreneur, or maybe he met a foreign entrepreneur that he knew well because he's been in politics 25 years and has served very often as next to Prime Minister, it is quite possible Philip J. Pierre knows a number of potential investors that he would probably bump into in his travels, right?
He would, yeah.
Good. And if they express certain things to him, they were thinking so and so and so, would it be wrong of him to suggest to the entrepreneur, the potential investor, hey, why don't you do this in St. Lucia? And we offer so and so at the NIC for this particular kind of stuff. Would something be wrong with that?
No. Because St. Lucia will benefit from the perspective of the establishment being set up, and also in terms of the interest that will be generated by the loan.
As a matter of fact, I have long suggested, that when the government chooses its foreign ambassadors, they should have in mind these guys scouting around for investors. In fact, Kenny tried it in England shortly before, some years ago, where he had ambassadors looking out for investments for us. Okay? And I have always advocated that we should have as our ambassadors, not just guys who are just there, but guys with the personality, the ability, the knowledge, etc., to entice foreign investors. They meet them at cocktail parties and whatnot and bring them home. No?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be great? So I don't know for a fact, because you heard me ask, I think I asked Frank last night, or somebody did, whether Alan Sassney had recommended the client to them. I think he said no or something like that. But I'm saying, let us say Alan Sassney had, in fact, recommended to the client that we have certain facilities in St. Lucia and you should use it and invest in St. Lucia. Would something be wrong with that?
No, absolutely not.
But I don't get us, man. Now, do you know of any company, any foreign company, any local company that went into big business in St. Lucia, including Renault, I would imagine, who is an exemplar of a St. Lucia? Let us give Renault all the kudos that people think he deserves I've known the man a long time. An exemplar, except for one little dot we won't talk about, an exemplar of a St. Lucian. Would you say?
Absolutely.
So
Beyond the shadow of a doubt.
Yes. If we forget one little black spot that nobody's talking about. And then we had the gentleman, what's his name now? I knew him from the earliest days, Baron Foods.
Mm-hmm.
We like to call him St. Lucian. Of course, he's not.
Yeah.
But, etc. All of those guys, I put it to you, have bank loans, have mortgages, have loans on their cars. All of them. So why the deal that a big company like Cabot would need to borrow money to it? The borrowing of money is a business procedure, Tim. It's part of doing business. Just because you can buy a house cash, does that mean you're not going to go to the bank and get a loan to buy a house?
But the same thing I was talking about yesterday is all about demagoguery. And if you're going to sell a particular issue to the public, playing on their emotions. Number one, you're talking about foreigners, you're talking about white people. Number one, St. Lucian land. Number two, you're talking about taking a loan from the NIC. Our contributions, putting it in jeopardy. That was what was being sold to the people of St. Lucia at the time.
I know your time. I know your time is gone, and you're giving me special treatment. I appreciate that. I'm honored, etc. So you don't get any blows. I thought I heard the oracle from New York. You know what that is?
No, I don't.
New York called you. I'm sure she's hearing you, and she's going to be cursing me in her normal style. But I leave her to Yardi to do that.
Who's that, Nigel?
But bullseye.
Nigel Toussaint.
Whenever she responds to me, she goes to the gutter. And I've told her, go and deal with Yardi on that, because I'm not into that foolish. If I heard her correctly, because there's somebody who unfortunately sounds like her, I don't know if she's the one who called you yesterday.
She called. She called yesterday.
She called. And she said to you, a Trinidadian had been hired to be public prosecutor.
No,
right?
I don't think she made that disclosure. You know, she made the comment. The producer saying yes, that
the
is.
woman said, yeah. Okay, and I was amazed that you didn't ask her any more about it.
No, because I don't think at the time I could have given credence to what she said, because I've not been able to confirm whether it's a St. Lucian or a Trinidadian.
I don't tell you your job, Tim. I don't want to tell you your job, but I would have asked her how she knows that, and that's a hell of a thing to speak if you're just talking, especially when she was offering her services to train leaders for St. Lucia. You remember that part?
Yes, I remember that part.
She was offering her services to train magistrates and policemen.
Yeah.
Boy, you see kind of talent we have wasted outside. Thank you very much for your generosity, Tim. And I apologize for taking away your
You're welcome, sir. You're welcome. All right, so let us hear from, again, my either famous or infamous guest last evening on Newsmaker Live, Chartered Accountant Mr. Frank Myers, speaking about the wastage of state funds and fears that the new St. Jude Hospital will not be utilized.
This building is going to sit there while somebody is going to come up with how it could be used. By the time it's ready to be used, it's probably going to be in a deteriorated condition, and we've got to spend money on it again. What's the point? It has to be utilized. And if it's closer to what a hospital should look like in terms of the physical outlay, because don't forget, the hospital is more than the structure. We haven't even spoken about the equipping the hospital, etc. and so on. But if you have a framework for a hospital, why would you leave it lying around and go and refurbish a building that structurally was put up in for a different purpose? It doesn't make sense. What we have now is people are putting political considerations above financial considerations. And what I find weird now is that a lot of people go into government, they have expertise. Right? They have expertise. And the idea is that you use your expertise as you would use it in the private sector. You know, you use that. But we don't seem to do that. We go in there and we everything becomes political. And maybe it's because, to use a kind of phrase that you hear a lot these days, it's not their money. Do you honestly believe if somebody had their money tied up in that structure, the last structure that went up, that will just put it aside and go and do something else if his money was in it? Wouldn't do that. It's not their money. In the same sense, the road up in Rodney Bay that was stopped, there's a $34 million to be paid, I understand, to the old contractors. Then we've got to go out there now and get new contractors, start all over again. Do you believe if your money was tied up in that, you would do that? You've got no cost to pay personally. And that's why we have these things. People have got to understand this thing. And if anything, they've got to get angry at somebody. They have to be angry at the people who are making these decisions. Because it's costing us money.
Chartered accountant Mr. Frank Myers, he was my guest last evening on DBS's News Make Alive. And we conclude with our NewsSpin News of the Day. Our NewsSpin News of the Day: global rice prices surge 12-year highs and could rise even more. Global rice prices surge 12-year highs and could rise even more. Our NewsSpin News of the Day. Bringing to a conclusion NewsSpin for today. Thank you so much for watching on our NewsSpin Facebook page as well as YouTube and listening on Power 97.9 FM. Goodbye.